All right, so what happened then? Well, um, so the original group of people who were kind of had a little bit of power would go to Subi, and and they were not up for the job, so they were always asking like the wrong questions, and not understanding, and this kind of thing. Just not very good students. But Subi was something he could tolerate. Uh, his tolerance for the errors that exist in mankind was his inner tolerance was well, almost unfathomable. Um, you know, so he would try to work with them. So they asked him, things aren't going too well, and I don't know, some of the members are disturbed, and so you know, I don't know the exact detail in terms of time and everything else, but one of the things that happened, they kept asking about how to do things, so he kind of, you know, kept going with them and kind of gave them his, like what works for the Indonesians, in other words, what his point of view was. Um, and he brought in something else, which was a thing called testing. And there's just been no end of mischief from that as well. And it seems that in the East, in Indonesia, I shouldn't say the East, but in Indonesia, where the gift, started out, everything has to start somewhere, and it started in Indonesia. Um, it was a thing which wasn't even well known there. He didn't really introduce it there, but because the West, for whatever reason, uh, processed more material and was more covered over and had more difficulty uh, understanding and seeing things, he introduced this thing called testing. And testing is a thing where you ask a question and then you wait until the gift works on you, gives you an answer. Hmm? So it sounds pretty simple, and certainly, on the surface it is, but actually, in fact, the testing, as it turns out, is a thing which deals with sources, and so the source, I'm not going to try, this isn't really mystical. You may think, oh, we're going to get mystical now, and I don't even understand this, but it's really pretty easy to understand that, in man, there are many influences and things. There's like people say, well, be yourself, and follow your own nature and things like this. And of course, if you don't, or if you're unable to, um, you're just a hodgepodge of things. You're your ancestors. You're picking up influences from your ancestors, from the people around you, from the atmosphere that you're existing in at the moment. There are so many ways not to be, really tuned into the real reality that's happening at that moment, and it's where the Almighty, is behind it all. So, some of the things that were said were that the testing would show the things that were attributed to Subi as having said by him. It would help to give you a proof that about the exercise, that it was real, and that it had you could experience things through testing that would kind of be convincing. So you could see he was working with some people who weren't getting much, as I say. Probably a bunch of those people were Gurdjieff people who just weren't getting it. But in any case, so he introduced the testing. Well, then Then they got off into testing about who should be the chairman of the group and who should be the secretary, stuff like this. And he warned him. He said, don't test about material things, but you can ask questions if you wish about who because you can't always tell. I guess he could see they didn't have very good judgment. So I don't want to ad lib here. I don't know what he saw. And one day I hope to have some little tiny little bit of that. If I could have, if I can reach the point of restoration where I can see some of those things that he saw, which has already occurred, little bit by little bit, well, I'd be quite happy with that. But so they started using testing to determine things. Well, right away there was a big mischief because you can be insincere and you can test a thing to where it comes out any way you want. You can see how people do in the outer world. They take something and they kind of twist it around a little bit, and then they ask the question, and you're trapped into giving sort of answer. It's beside the point, but the way they framed everything up, there's hardly anything else you can do unless you pull out your blade and say, okay, enough of this, and we know we shouldn't do that. Christ said, well, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Which, Muhammad's followers did quite a bit of that, so maybe it's not really the bad thing. I'm really getting off field now. But so they started up testing. Then they became kind of like, priests. We will go now, we will test about the membership, what should be done. A comedy of errors, really pretty early on. So in the West here, where we are used to doing things democratically and voting on things, and they kind of went along and said, sure, you can vote. It's just like, say, well, in the United States, they say, well, yeah, you can vote. See, but it becomes meaningless because somebody else is pulling the strings. So you can vote all you want, but if you expect any real change to come from it, good luck. Anywho, so that started happening. And it went on. Subud was already old when he started in the West. He was already like 57 or 56 or 57. And, he wasn't a young man. And by the time, and he kept going around the world. He went around the world, I don't know, 20 times. He looked after us. Give us, clarify things for us, and kind of help us, as a good father would. That's why they call him Bapak. It's an Indonesian word, means father. Anyway, so they started up with that. And then, when they wanted to have new people help, they would have to go to the helpers. They're not temporary. They don't call themselves temporary helpers anymore. They dropped it temporary. Now they're just helpers. But the word has now become to mean something like, we're the ones who are in charge here. If you don't like it, you can get out of the organization, So these people didn't, a lot of, on the whole, didn't understand much and didn't really get much of what the gift was about, were running things. Well, isn't that the way the world works? A lot of times. That's what happened. So as a result, 1 million people got open, and 97% of them left over time. And hardly anybody new came in. These people are now like a lot of them died, but there's still a bunch of white-haired people. They're older than I am by 10 years, and they're still, you know. So that's one of the reasons why the gift isn't flourishing on the earth, because um, so the real way, what is the real way, the right way to organize a group of people like this? Well, Sufi weighed in and said at one point, I'm sure he said many other things as well, but which he did. But I mean, he said, well, it's just an organization. Because he didn't want to try to make people do special things. So he said, it's just a regular organization. Well, in the way it is, it's also an organization which is trying to do something, or is attempting, or is confronted with the business of organizing people that have never been organized before, people called by the Almighty. So these people are of all different types, ilks, sorts, young, old, rich, poor, Muslim, Jewish, Christians, atheists. I mean, every sort of Buddhist, every sort of religion, every sort of non-religious type of group. Um, you know, the almost countless varieties, probably are countless varieties of how man is, slightly different from one another, or how they've come to different cultures and different things. So, and then the testing. All right. So how would be the way to organize this group? Well, over the years, I try to find out. How I found out was I would just suspend my belief, and I would wait until I had a kind of a guidance. I would let my inner guidance. That is, I don't expect you to believe this, but if you have experience with it, maybe a small number of you do, or not too many, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Is that the guidance of God is actually in every aspect of your life, and if you allow freely and sincerely, if you allow that guidance to work, and it gets stronger over time. Your soul gets stronger, and your outer being gets weaker. What does it mean? Outwardly you might say, well, I'm going to the party. I always wanted to go to this party, and by golly, I'm going. See? But, when your soul is stronger than you are, why, before you can open your mouth, or even say that thing, you're getting, oh, no, I think I'll go. I'm not feeling it. I don't feel. So you don't go to the party. Maybe you go to another party, whatever. But I mean, so it guides you about, and it's part of your own being. It's not like some foreigner is telling you what to do. You feel it. You say, yeah, that's right. And actually, what was I thinking? In other words, what force in me was trying to take over my life? you know, what desire was I getting ready to capitulate to? You're free to go to parties. There's no rule that you can't go to a party, and you do go to parties, but certain parties. What parties are they? Well, you go to parties that are positive, that will give you a positive growth. You'll learn something from being there. Your soul will learn something from interacting with those people. So the interests of your way toward back to God are acted on and manifested, and there's a result. See, I'm starting to miss a few words, but anyway, that's you know what I'm saying. So how would it be organized? Well, the guidance that I've had is pretty simple, and the wisdom what I've learned from experience is that first of all, okay, so you have all these people, and there are different stages of development, and some of them are like kind of being worked on. It's like they're in the hospital; their brain isn't working right now because God's working on it. He shut it down. They still have other things; they can still function, but their brain has stopped working, or their heart isn't working because it's working on their heart. You know, this part of the machine isn't working, but He keeps it. It's amazing how the Almighty can be doing some pretty strong work on you. You can still go about your business in your daily life, and nobody even notices. And you all know how that is because you can have like a shortcoming, but you adapt and you adjust and you compensate. And the first thing you know, nobody even knows you have this shortcoming because you know. I mean, I'm talking about some unhealthy thing. I'm talking about a healthy thing where, you know, you you're able to cope with it and deal with it and go on about your life and not be negatively impacted. Mm, you know, it's late after midnight campground here. During Christmas vacation. Yeah, it's 2 or 3 days till the next year. We're going to have a new president. Amazing what democracy will bring about. Donald Trump. Businessman. Anyway, getting back to the subject, which so what is that way? Well, first of all, you don't, man being what he is, do not want to give man any power. Give him any power at all. He will tend, rather more often than not, he will abuse that power, and you'll be sorry you gave him the power. You lent him your car, now you wish you hadn't. Because he was a nice guy before you lent him the car, but now he's acting up and he won't give you your car back. So you don't want to give people power. Trust me. Okay, so that's number, because we're dealing with the whole spectrum of people. We're not just dealing with noble people, good-hearted people, really, intelligent, perceptive people. We're dealing with all across the board. People who can't see something when you shine the light right into their eyes, they still don't see it. And people who will find a way to make trouble no matter what, and so on. Okay, so this group of people that you're trying to kind of keep an umbrella, maybe it's impossible. There's a good common sense thing. Well, you say, well, it's impossible, and sure enough, it has turned out to be so far. And maybe that's the answer. Maybe you can't organize a group of people. As we said, the gift is the same gift that's the messengers of God, the prophets of Christ. And, it's the same gift that was given to them. So, but there was only one of them at a time. Suppose you had two guys that get the gift. They have their different natures in different places where they're still different. Maybe they would, what would happen? Well, now you have 1 million people, and mostly not very, in fact, almost completely, to where there may have been a few exceptions. I'm sure there were. There's always higher and lower and more developed, less of it, but mostly on a low, confused kind of level. Everything's, you get things all wrong. They're brainwashed, they're deluded about life. They think the satanic life that's lived here, the material life, is the way that a human being should live a life, and they give up their human life just like that for, shiny diamond rock, and some sort of material life. They like that. And who doesn't? Because part of even as a human being, you like those sort of things. Okay, so number one, you don't give them any power. Now, speaking as an American, United States, um, where I'm at, what I see, there are a lot of people like me, and there are a lot of people who don't quite see things the way I do here. But it's a kind of a general thing I'm saying. Well, our thing is more about the meritocracy. If you work really well at something, then you should be put in that position. And if you don't really work really well at something and somebody else works better, they should get that position. You should go and do something you do well. We'll help you find out what that is. Also our position, whether how true, what, I won't go into the history of equality, but, we feel basically that we're all created by God. We're equal. We're not, one isn't better than the other. One may, be able to play the piano really well, and the other one may be very good with little children and so forth and so on. And one may be great at cleaning up places and another at digging ditches and so on. But it's all different talents they have. It doesn't mean it's the things they do or anything like that or what they say. It doesn't make them superior. We don't actually feel, I don't feel, I know I'm an ordinary person, and I don't feel that there's anything but just the human beings are all pretty much made the same way. They have different gifts, they've made different progresses and so on, but fundamentally, they're, wonderful creations of God, but they're equal. So, in our country, I have French ancestry. Maybe I'm talking more about France, but we feel equality is a bedrock, a real thing, and something to be appreciated and adhered to. So we treat each other equally, not just because we think it's cool to do that, but because it is true. You can get wonderful, precious insights from people that you may have initially thought were just the stupidest, blindest people. You get to know them and you trust them and you respect them. And one day they may very well surprise you, and they often do. Well, there's something down there you didn't know about, you didn't see, because I think all of God's creations are terrific, more so than we can fathom. Including the potential that we have, some of the things that we are sometimes by the grace of God we find ourselves able to do quite nice. So equality, not giving people power. Now, in the matter of the gift and the organization associated with it, Subud, called Subud. We'll talk about that later. It's just an acronym. They had to find a name, so they came up with that word Subud. There is well, the way of it is people who aren't interested in it may still come because they have other agendas. Maybe they want to meet a girl, or join a group and get so many people in that group to give them money so they can start a business, or as they feel insecure, they want to be a part of a bigger group. And so there are many, many different reasons why a person might join an organization, including Subud. And so the two things that are pretty essential in order for this gift that God gave mankind will help to balance him out, that could possibly save him. The two things that are essential, just as a way of talking about things, is number one, that the person actually opens up and really, just in a simple way, but just allows the gift to work and lets it, without stopping, without going off and daydreaming. It's only half an hour twice a week. Let it. The Beatles said, "Let it be." Well, in terms of the gift, let it happen. You're gonna fall over backwards. You're gonna crawl on the floor. You're gonna find yourself crying. Just go ahead and do it. You won't get hurt. God won't hurt you. He's not gonna hurt you. You're gonna hurt your child. So much more so God, as we would say from time to time. That way you can develop, and you pay attention, and when that guidance starts to come in, you feel those little nudges, speaking in the ways of the world, that little whisper, that little nudge, pay attention to it. Let that child speak. Let that little pure, innocent voice be heard. All right, so that's very important, that the way you organize these times when everybody gets together, and men do the gift, and women do the gifts, different rooms, same time, all together. It's important that you arrange that in such a way that it doesn't become some kind of something else. Some sort of any kind of posture, because you may be over there playing with your cute little car, but the car that you're trying to get fixed is not getting fixed. Mechanic, you've changed your attention. You're not paying him now. You're paying somebody else, or you're paying your imagination. That car isn't getting fixed, because if you do pay attention and you do allow the gift to work as it goes in, you don't keep saying, "Well, this can't be right," and this, I don't know, what is this, and I don't think I'll go that far. Of course, then hiding it from yourself and so on and so forth. See, it's takes courage. Okay, that's important. The other thing, in terms of the gift thriving, is that the new people who are being told about the gift and are being hopefully guided to it, called to it by the Almighty, or however you want to put it, maybe they're interested. They need to be looked after by loving, supportive, caring people, and hopefully over time, by people, certainly by now, it should have been 50 years this thing's been going on. More, what is it? 43 plus 17, it's 60 years. We've been on for 60 years. Next year will be the 60th anniversary of the gift being introduced to the West. So by now, there should be people who are quite in the way of it. It takes time, but it doesn't take that long. The whole thing can pretty much be cooking along in a pretty, operating system. You can go to Mars with that ship, that kind of thing. In 20, 30 years. Pay attention. Well, you can be, not completely, but you can be cleaned, kind of initial, you can be cleaned up to a point. You can receive guidance and in your life, you know how to talk to people. Because, each person actually, the way the soul talks to another soul, is far more perceptive, and, it's different for each person. They're different. They're similar, but they're different. So, all those kinds of things can be done. But also, how are you going to choose the people then who can't? What I was going to say was also in terms of they also need to have the kind of right attitude and want to and have something going on there where they feel like they want to help other people. They like to help other people. They feel good helping other people. They have some kind of sense of responsibility. Feel responsible. As you know very well, not everyone does. Alright, so how are you going to get those people? That's a big part of this group thriving, is to get those people, find those people. Okay, well, let's look at that. How are you going to find? Well, in a given time, the Almighty, of course, knows who they are. That's a little bit too, that you want to go right there. We'll test, we'll see who should be the person, because God knows who should be the person. So that's no good. No, because that's your idea of how to approach God and do that and so forth. And actually, it's a kind of an arrogance, because that presumes that God hasn't already showed you, God isn't already directing you. No, it's like, God, I don't know why you didn't tell me this. I didn't know. Who would be, it's like disgusting. Really? Okay. So how would you do this? Well, you have a group of 50 people belong to the Austin, Texas group, let's say. Gather them together in a room. You tell them about a way of interacting with each other, which is going to be completely according to the custom and the order of things. That is, we vote on things. That's how we do things. And we vote as equals. Everybody gets one vote. And, we vote on almost everything. Not everything, but almost everything. All the important things. The big flow, a little tributary, some of them, God said, Jim, go ahead, take care of that. We check to see if you did. Okay, so there's that. So, okay, we're going to vote, but there's going to be a difference because we have an inner soul. The soul inside is alive. So we're going to wait until we're moved. As we're moved. It used to be in the old days. So moved. Indicates a secret about life, if you want to call it that, which is that only God, Subud told us, I found it to be true, only God has the authority to move you. If you're just quiet, you're not letting one of your forces, you're not under the influence of some force. I'll tell you what I'm going to do here, see, that kind of thing. If you just allow the gift to work, which does, God makes it so in you, it works very easily. Then only God can move you. Alright, so let's take that to how we're going to decide things. We're going to vote. But when you vote, you have to discipline yourself and you not just vote from your passions, your idea, or you'd like so-and-so or something. you think this would be a good person, this is your wisdom insight, you know they would be good. No, none of that. You're going to wait until you are moved. You know? Okay. So, and we're going to keep it simple. It's going to be moved. Vote yes or no. So all those in favor, you know, I'm in favor, and then all those opposed, you know. Yeah. But I mean, because the guidance of God that ripples through the crowd, that works, you know, it's all in accordance. So it all is in harmony, and it agrees. You find through experience, it does. So therefore, it gets a group together, and you take up your different issues. And one of the most important ones that you take up is the matter of who's going to be looking after, who's going to babysit the kids, who's the babysitter going to be. Who's going to look after the kids? Who's going to be the nanny? Who's going to be the mother, you know, of these orphans that are coming in, or whoever, you know, these people that, and, you know, there's a lot of reasons why they need to be looked after to some degree, not overly so, but they definitely need a certain amount of looking after. They need support, which I'm going to discuss, or I've already discussed in different places, why that's so. But anyway, I'm trying to keep this simple, going on too long. So they vote. When they vote, who wants to look after other people? Well, you're going to find in a group of people, and they don't all want to do it. A lot of them don't want to do it. But it's just some that do it. And some of the ones that do, you think, oh my God, that's be terrible. That's all right. So okay. So we're just not going to discuss anything. We're just going to, or we can hear them talk for a second. But let, you know, maybe a minute or something. Okay, but let's vote. Okay, so what about John Worston? We're going to vote. Wait till you're moved. Nothing happening. Okay, so John, you're up. All right, so, you know, Martha Smith, she wants to be a helper. Women, yeah. What does it mean? She has the capacity. Doesn't mean she'll do a good job. She has it. But anyway, you don't analyze the vote. You don't ask a bunch of questions. You just vote. In that way, quickly, pretty quickly, you don't have a lot of discussion, this and that, and people tell about each other and things like that. It's all man's business. It's not the reality. It's not much. It's part of the reality. The real reality coming from the Almighty. So, coming from that place first. So you get your group. Maybe you get, it's 50 people. Maybe you find that you vote in 7 of them. Now, what has happened there? Well, the souls, on whatever level, whatever degree, being guided by God, that is moved, are directing that group. So it's a direct direction from the Almighty. And why is that important? It's important because who else could possibly figure out in reality how to, organize a group like this so it didn't just blow apart? Those different kinds of people. With all the weaknesses and strengths of man, and the strong forces he has and the conditions. People are just blowing apart or becoming something else. How many things become something else, which is pretty much what's happened to students. Anyway, so you get these people now. I'm telling you things that have come to me from guides that I've had. See what your own guidance is. start somebody else. Start with your own. What is your guidance? What's the guidance of God that comes through you? Right, so then you go on and take care of your stuff, and then and so you don't want these things to last too long. Right, so now you have 7 or 8 people, 3 men, 4 women, whatever. They're going to look after the men and the women that are coming in. Now, you wait for 3 months. 3 months. And you have another meeting. In that meeting, you bring forward, you have the kids that are just coming in, so they get to be a part of everything too. You know, they're not, you aren't even open yet. You know, there's none of this kind of crap. They're just as much of a creature of God and have just the same. You know, they're just as much as you are. They get to have their fair share. So maybe you have them briefly, you know, for a minute or 2 minutes at the most, but no more than that. You can't have people going on. You guys in talk, well, okay, so you had the person who was looking after you with so and so. How did that work? And then they tell you. Now, in some cases, the whole group, the whole 50 group, people. In some cases, you can see right away that this is going well, because you don't only ask the people that were doing help, but you ask the people who were doing the help. So how was it for you? How did it go? They give a minute. So what have you got there? You got 28 minutes to say. You know, so it takes a little time, but it's important. You can shorten it down. Maybe some people don't, need to take a whole minute. So no, it's good. Oh, okay. Anyway, so then you say, okay, now we're going to vote again when you move. See, same people. Because the one thing, this is going on, and so was busy, and the other one turned out to be just a bust. He wanted to, but then he changed his mind. Now he doesn't want to. And she's actually pretty cruel to people, and didn't realize she was, and feels bad. Whatever. So, like as not, maybe let's say a couple of those people, or let's say 3 of those people. No, not working out. Okay, so, later you have it. You always have the opportunity every time, but so later things come around. You get to a certain place, or God calls on you to do the circle, and there you go. But in the meantime, we need 3 more people. So, okay, so who feels moved? Whatever. Who has, whether you want to or you're moved or whatever, who wants to take up this responsibility? Oh, we have now, a bunch of hands. So 5 more people. So you do the same thing. Okay, so we're going to vote on this too. Wait till you're moved. Just keep doing this. And some of those people, so nobody has a position, do they? But they're just doing it for now. It's your turn to help in the kitchen doing the dishes. You're not a dishwasher, are you? You're just a person that's taking their turn washing dishes. So no one becomes a helper. Now there may be a few of those people that over time, it's always good. They are really good helpers. That's what we want. We want people who work on to encourage people and support them and everything else. They have a lot of people that they've been working with. They're happy. And they're, yes, this is so good. You vote, it's always positive. So they go on, even though every 3 months comes up. Has to come up every 3 months. Why 3 months? Well, because if somebody's causing mischief, that mischief can be corrected if it's only gone on for 3 months. If it's gone on for any longer than that, or much longer than that, a lot of it can't be corrected. The person's already left. Fuck these people. oh, this is a bunch of crap. I don't know. If they're so spiritual, why do they act like this toward me? And they won't even, they can't help me when I need help. And I'm going somewhere else. Whatever. Every 3 months. 3 months. The same kinds of things can be done, in other areas. I mean, you could see what the guidance is. You need to follow the guidance of God in terms of organizing this group, because not through testing. Okay. So that's a little bit, very outline-ish kind of thing about what happened, why, and what are some of the answers to getting this thing, now we're trying to restore it, resuscitate the corpse. There's more. Maybe I'll do 4 or 5 of these. Maybe 4 would be enough. Anyway, so I'm going to go on some more. I'm going to try to share with you, pass on, what I've understood about how you would actually figure out the way, the technique or the way of allowing the Almighty through the souls to actually direct this unbelievable group of different kinds of people. Just people that would normally never even meet in society. If they did, they, God only knows what they might, that kind of thing. That's what you're looking at. In the end, it's an aspect of that. Once you all start worshiping together and directing towards the same thing, you get to feel pretty close, quite close. Close. In a large part of your being, you feel close, but there's still lots of differences. Alright, so next time, let's see what we do. I'm trying to keep the threads going here. So a little bit more about the way of making it run properly, through the guidance of God, how to access that. Some things about how testing doesn't work, and how, what the problem is, why Subud needs to be, as Subud came to me and said, it needs a cultural adjustment. It needs a cultural adjustment. How that's affecting our growth in the world. So we get started again, and then I think finally I'm going to end up with how we can actually initiate, or if we should, if we should, and how we could initiate the change in the group, or whether we should, not do that or start new groups. Anyway, I'll get to that at the end. See if we can't take a position. And those of you who agree with me, and understand what I'm saying and so forth, or whatever, you can contact me and then we'll start it up. I'm not going to give up. As long as I'm here, I'm going to keep trying to see, as long as I'm guided to do that. Which, sometimes I'm not guided to, do much, particularly with the accent Subud. It's like, well, we'll see. As long as that kind of guidance is going on, I'll be doing that, because, I think we all want the gift to thrive. We want mankind to be saved. We want to be successful. It's human endeavor. We want to become noble human beings and arrange our affairs on the earth so that everyone has you know, um, a regular has a piece of land and a chance to have a family and enough to eat and have a life. And not all the horrors that we now have going on. So that's what this is all about. All right, okay. But, I will say I think it is I think this is the answer. The answer is not activism. The answer is becoming active. Um, receive the gift, let the mechanic fix your car, and then you can become a better human being, regardless of what you may think in your brain. It's not about your brain, it's about you, who you really are, what you have the possibility of becoming or being if you let the Almighty work on you. And just consider that concept that the Almighty is quite willing to help you out, work on you, if you let Him. All right, enough now.